Welcome to Science TV. We are here to inform you on what is happening globally and locally as well. My name is Vidalis Njoki and our sign language interpreter doing the voicing is Wanjangeve. On to our first news, persons with disabilities, PWDs in Laikipia County are urging the government to immediately facilitate the installation of CT scan and MRI machines at hospitals in Nanyuki. According to the group, the current lack of these advanced diagnostic imaging devices is severely hindering the access to timely and quality medical treatment. The report being forced to travel to surrounding counties to seek the crucial health services. The PWDs emphasized that the absence of these scanners placed an undue burden on them, necessitating expensive and difficult travel just to receive proper diagnosis. And on to our next news. The governments of the United States, have signed a landmark 5-year health cooperation framework agreement with the U.S., pledging $1.6 billion, approximately 207 billion Kenya shillings, to bolster the country's health sector and accelerate its path to universal health coverage. The historic agreement, which makes Kenya the first African nation to enter such a government-to-government health framework with the U.S., was signed in Washington, D.C. Speaking after witnessing the signing, President Ruto commended the U.S. government and committed to ensuring the funds are utilized efficiently and transparently.
Adds momentum to my administration's universal health coverage that is focused on supply of modern equipment to our hospitals, efficient and timely delivery of health commodities to our facilities, enhancement of our health workforce, and health insurance for all, leaving no Kenyan behind.
And what it means is that money is not just going to be spent to provide medicine and care, it's going to be spent to improve the domestic infrastructure, healthcare infrastructure, so that in 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years, countries will say, we no longer need this much assistance, if any, because we have our own system, you've helped us to build it, it's now delivering results, and in fact, we now, these third, like maybe Kenya, want to go and teach other countries how to do it.
And on to our next news, the High Court ruled yesterday that President William Ruto's task force established to compensate victims of police brutality is unconstitutional. The judges presiding over the case held that the authority and mandate to handle compensation and related matters for victims of human rights abuses, including police brutality, rests solely with the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. The court found that the creation of a separate presidential task force encroached upon the statutory powers already granted to the independent human rights body. The ruling grants the KNCHR a period of 30 days to implement the required changes concerning the compensation mandate.
The president is not constitutionally empowered to constitute a panel of experts that are based on the design of a framework for compensation of victims of the human rights abuses, a matter which falls in the competence of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. In this petition is not the striking out or questioning of the proclamation and the Gazette appointing the panel but allowing the necessary amendment as necessary to be done to bring them in agreement with a constitutional statutory scheme. It has to be a case of good intentions, bad execution, and it is not necessary to quash the proclamation if it is suitably amended.
And on to our next news. Opposition leaders have raised the alarm over increasing instances of violence and goonism during recent electoral processes, warning that these trends pose a threat to the country's democracy and must be addressed urgently. Speaking in Makueni County at the burial of former Mboni Member of Parliament Joseph Munyao, opposition figures cautioned that chaos observed in recent by-elections serve as a clear indication that significant electoral reforms are required before 2027 general election.
Worst in this recent by-elections, we now know their game plan. There are no other games to play. And this country cannot be like any other country.
Violence during election time is a terrible violation of the electoral laws.
The team that brought back multi-party democracy at a great sacrifice. That democracy is in great peril if we cannot allow free and fair elections in our country.
We had a clause in the Election Offences Act which was going to bar any politician who instigated violence.
Right.
We had put it in the election offences. It's not too late.
And on to the next news. The implementation of probation and aftercare services has significantly contributed to prison decongestion, with the number of individuals serving non-custodial sentences now nearly equaling the prison population nationwide. This is according to Dr. Salome Biako, Principal Secretary of the Correctional Services, speaking in Siaya Town yesterday during the official opening of staff houses at the Siaya Female Probation Hostels. Biako highlighted the transformative impact of the community corrections.
My name is Dr. Salome Biako, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Correctional Services. We have come today to visit Siaya Female Probation Hostel. It's one of a kind. There is no other one in Kenya, and it serves female probation offenders who are either accompanied by their children who are below 4 years old, or they are pregnant. And this is a safe house of some sort where these female offenders who can serve probation orders come and stay in this environment that is a home away from home, and they can be rehabilitated. And very often their offenses range from child neglect of the family, petty offenses like brewing changa and such like things, which is predominantly caused by poverty. And so here we teach them a number of skills about looking after the children, looking after the family, and we equip them with skills so that when they go out there, they are able to fend for themselves. And one unit in probation and aftercare, since I'm in charge also of both Kenya Prison Service and probation and aftercare service, one of the units within probation and aftercare is aftercare itself. And so thereafter, after we have rehabilitated them, we go and look at the family environment, and we see whether we can now reintegrate them. And in the process of reintegrating them, my office actually, through aftercare unit, equips them. So we can equip them with a sewing machine, we can equip them with beauty products or beauty machines so that they can be able to fend for themselves, and so that the underlying causes of their offenses can be tamed. And the other reason we are here is to see them and to see how those rehabilitation programs are going on. But primarily we came here to commission the staff quarters, and we are very, very happy. I'm accompanied by the contractors who did a fantastic job in building new homes for our staff, because our probation and aftercare keeps expanding. Our officers need to stay within this environment because our offenders are very vulnerable women, predominantly young women having young children, and so they need continuous care, 24-hour care, so that they can be able to look after their children very well, and so that they can be able to concentrate on the programs that the rehabilitation programs that we give them, so that eventually we can see that they are making progress and that they do not recidivize, because ultimately.
And on to our final news, the United States government is reviewing its bilateral relationship with Tanzania following widespread reports of human rights suspension surrounding the nation's recent October 29th elections. In a press release issued on Tuesday, Thomas Bigot, the principal deputy spokesperson of the U.S. State Department, stated that actions taken by the administration led by President Samia Suluhu Hassan are undermining the rights of Tanzanian citizens to freedom and free speech.
Nje huko wanakaa Tanzania ifanye moja, ifanye mbili, ifanye tatu, halafu ndiyo itakuwa hivi. Who are you?
Uhalifu mkubwa unaoendelea kuhamasishwa. Hali kama hii kwa nchi yoyote ile duniani ni tishio kubwa la maisha ya watu, uchumi wa nchi na masuala yote ya kijamii. Polisi kwa kushirikiana na vyombo vingine vya ulinzi na usalama vimekuwa vikifuatilia kwa karibu sana yanayoendelea katika mitandao ya kijamii na kwenye makundi sogozi, wakihamasisha wanayoyaita maandamano ya amani yasiyo na kikomo.
Our people, demonstration is anchored in our laws, but peaceful demonstrations, not vandalism, not going around beating people, setting business on fire, destroying the country. That is not demonstration.
That is all for the news. Thank you for watching Science TV. My name is Fidelis Njoki, and that is my sign name. Our sign language interpreter doing the voicing is Wanjangede. Enjoy your lunch and have a good December celebrations.